This is the story of a man who paid the biggest price of his life for one thing: living for show-off. Dave Ramsey is an ambitious and bright-minded person. He started the real estate business at the age of 20. Soon he took a bank loan and bought several properties and made a net worth of crores. But he made a big mistake. He forgot that real wealth comes from financial stability, not just show-off. He borrowed all the house, car and furniture because he was earning income. You can take risks, but then the day came when all his MS came together, everything was over, all his dreams, all his hard work was wasted in one stroke. The house was taken away by the bank, the car was taken away by the financer, wife Sharon and small children were taken away. He literally reached zero. A man who once considered himself a millionaire now had to worry about paying his children's school fees. But the story does not end here. Rather, starts from here, the total money. The real beginning of change. Dave sat down and asked himself a question. What did I do wrong? And then started an in-depth research. Financial books, Bible, principles of behavioral economics apply to everything. He understood that people take loans, not because they want to become rich, but to look rich quickly. Dave combined his experience and research and created a step-by-step system by which he uplifted himself and then millions of people. Today, millions of people in America have become debt-free by following the small steps told by Dave Ramsey. What happened is that if Dave Ramsey can come out of that devastation, then believe me, you can also come out, but for that, the mindset will have to change. You will have to move away from show-off and move towards discipline, because brother, the bank balance is not visible, but life can be built with it. And show-off gives only momentary satisfaction, which ruins it in the future. Friends, before proceeding further in book summary, please subscribe to our books Summary 2.0 YouTube channel. Friends, if you like the book summary of our channel, then you can join our channel. Today's video is not just a book summary, it is a wake-up call for those who reach zero as soon as their salary comes every month. For those who think that MS and credit cards are a part of life, and for all those who dream of financial freedom but don't know the way. Have you ever wondered what is left in your hand even after working hard all day? Every month's salary is lost in the crowd of EMS, rent bills and needs, and only fatigue and stress remain. You look good with a good phone but are broken from inside. You have mortgaged yourself to impress others. You may have branded shoes but have zero balance in the bank account. Sometimes you feel that your whole life will pass in this cycle. Work, spend, pay off the loan, and then repeat the same, brother. If your heart has become heavy after hearing this, then believe me, you are not alone. Millions of people around the world are caught in this trap, and Dave Ramsey was just like you at one point, but then he completely changed his life with the 7 lessons of the Total Money Makeover, which you are going to learn further in this video. If you also want to bring real change in your life, then watch this video with full attention, because now we will talk about those 7 simple small steps, which can take any ordinary person from debt freedom to real wealth. So let's move on to the first lesson. Lesson 1. Create an emergency fund. Author Dave Ramsey says, when you do not have an emergency fund, everything becomes an emergency, meaning when you do not have an emergency fund, everything becomes an emergency. Imagine if your mother falls ill at night, or the bike gets into an accident. If you do not have even job 100 at that time, then no comfort or luxury of the world is of any use. So the first thing to do is to create a small emergency fund, a small buffer of 70 to 80,000 or 1 lakh rupees. Do not take tension and say I am there. This step seems very small to hear and look at, but in reality this is the foundation of financial freedom. Even if unnecessary expenses force you to borrow, then you are living in jail. With only show-off freedom, Dave himself tells that when he was in debt, one day his car broke down. The cost of repair was only $1,200, almost $1 lakh, but he did not have that money. He had to swipe the credit card again. He says, my income was good, but there was no margin. I was living on the margin, and that is the biggest risk. Let's understand this in the Indian context. So, you are doing a job. You have some savings. Then one day, suddenly your mother has to be taken to the hospital. A bill of yod 15,000 came, but you do not have even 1,500 in hand. Now what is the option? Borrow from a friend, swipe a credit card, or mortgage the remaining gold at home. And from here you are again stuck in the day-to-day cycle. Dev says there should not be an emergency loan. There should be an emergency fund. I was a 28-year-old sales executive on a monthly basis. 90% of the salary was spent on rent, EMI, petrol, wedding, weekend outings. One day, while returning from office, his bike slipped, he fractured his leg, got admitted in the hospital, doctor's fee, plaster, expenses of 1 lakh rupees. Family members asked, "Son, do you have some money?" Ravi replied, "No, get it swiped from the credit card. We will see later." And from here Ravi's downhill journey started. EMI was already there, now on top of that credit card interest, stress, tension, and now guilt. Ravi says, "I wish I had created an emergency fund of 1 lakh rupees earlier. Life would not have been so difficult." Remember, creating an emergency fund is not foolishness but wisdom, because the sun does not always shine in life. Sometimes storms come, and at that time your emergency fund is your shelter. Now let's talk about that step, which breaks the biggest chain of a middle-class person, the chain of debt. Lesson 2. Pay off all debts from small to big. Debt Snowball Method author Dave Ramsey says living on MS is modern slavery, and it's time to break free. Dave Ramsey tells us debt is not just a number, it's a mental burden, a relational stress, and a hindrance to the future. When he restarted his life after bankruptcy, he adopted a simple philosophy: pay off small debts first, and then attack the big debts at the same pace. This is called the Dead Snowball Method. Now let me tell you the reality of the Indian middle-class person. Today's Indian middle-class person. You 1,000 credit card balance, you 5 lakh, personal loan, you 1 lakh car loan, you 40 lakh home loan, and an emergency EMI on top of that. Salary comes every month and goes into MI. Children's fees, parents' medicines, your dreams, everything is pending, and this cycle does not break unless you take action. Now let me tell you a story. It is Priyanka's story. Priyanka's life was reduced to just an MI. Priyanka is 33 years old, a working mother with a good salary and a good life, but she had a credit card bill of Rs 3 lakh, a personal loan of Rs 8 lakh, a flat loan of Rs 45 lakh, an MI of Rs 47,000 every month. And one day, her son said, "Mummy, my friend has bought a new bicycle. Will he buy one for me too? Will he buy one for me too?" Why did Priyanka's eyes fill up? You must have guessed the answer. What did she do then? She first paid the smallest credit card bill, as per Dave Ramsey's 7 steps, and then tried for the next loan. After every loan, she would pay the remaining EMI of the next loan herself. Debt zero in 4 years. Now not only can she give freedom to her son, but now she can give freedom to her son. Now we understand how to start the debt snowball action plan. First of all, make a list of all the loans, amount, interest rate, monthly EMI, etc. Now understand carefully. Number 1, arrange the loans in ascending order from smallest to largest, according to the amount only. Number 2, keep paying minimum MEI on all, but give extra emphasis to the smallest loan. Number 3, as soon as it is over, add its EMI and additional amount to the next loan. What will happen from this is that momentum will be created, confidence will increase, and loans will keep falling. This is called the snowball effect. Author Dave Ramsey says that there is a big myth about repaying loans, which says that loans with higher interest should be repaid first. But Dave says that yes, mathematically interest is important, but finance is 80% behavior and only 20% mathematics. When you repay a small loan, confidence comes, and this confidence is your biggest currency. Finally, always remember that EMI is not a lifestyle. It is a chain that is not visible but cuts away your freedom bit by bit every month. People think they are the owners of the car, but in reality, they are just slaves paying IMS. Now is the time to shed the false shine of pretense which makes you look rich from outside but hollows you from inside. Now is the time to become truly rich, where there is no fear of the bank, no burden of debt, only peace, respect, and freedom to earn. Now we have reached the third stage, the stage where a person breathes for the first time because he is free from debt. Now the real story of saving begins. Lesson 3. Build a full emergency fund of 3 to 6 months. Storms never come without warning, but those who are prepared can survive even the storms. Author Dave Ramsey says that a small emergency fund is like an umbrella, but a full emergency fund is a bunker that protects you from storms. Now you are free all day long. Now you are protected not from short-term emergencies, but from the uncertainties of living standards. We have to protect ourselves from situations like job loss, health emergency, family crisis, business closure, and for this we will need savings equal to at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Most people in India do not have savings, rather they live on adjustments. Some people think that if they lose their job, they will do something. If they go to the hospital, they will take a loan. But Dave says that hope is not a plan. Emergency fund, I am asking you a bitter thing. If you lose your job today, how many days will you be able to live without taking help from anyone? If the answer is no, then creating an emergency fund is now your first responsibility. Let's look at a real-life example. Ravi was a typical middle-class guy, engineer in Noida, Yak 65, 0 monthly salary, had a car on EMI, bought a new iPhone, partied on weekends, everything seemed fine. Then came COVID, the company downsized, and Ravi lost his job. He didn't even have under 3,000 in savings. His credit card limit was almost over. EMI was due and phone and installation was also pending. Mom needed BP medicines. Dad's eyes were worried and Ravi kept looking at the ceiling all night, thinking, I lived all these years only for show. That day, Ravi was broken from inside, but that's where his transformation started. He understood that living in debt is not a lifestyle but a waste. First of all, stop using credit cards. Plan to get out of every EMI. Sold extra gadgets. Reduce expenses. Income from freelancing slowly resumed. Started creating an emergency fund. Started with Yog 5-0 every month. Now after a year, Ravi has got a new job. Salary is Jog 75-0, but this time Jog 0 goes into the emergency account every month. No credit card, no EMI. Today Ravi says that he has a job now. If you go, don't be afraid, because my emergency fund is my shield. Ravi's story is enough to open our eyes. Remember, losing a job does not lead to ruin. Ruin comes when there is no plan, and planning starts from there. From emergency fund, now we understand how to create a complete emergency fund. First of all, calculate your 3 to 6 months essential expenses, such as rent, ration, EMI, if anything is left, children's fees, medicines. Let's say all this together is Jur 30-0 per month. Then there should be an emergency fund. You need Joan 90,000 to UA 180,000 every month. Keep fixed savings in emergency fund. Do not touch this money. It is just a break for class in case of emergency. Keep it in a separate bank account or separate digital wallet so that there is no temptation. Remember, the most important thing is that true wealth is not what is visible. True wealth is what helps you move forward in any storm. Emergency fund is the invisible armor which does not let a person bow down in front of the world. Now it is the turn of the fourth stage, which not only earns money, but also enriches the thinking of the person. Till now, we were fighting the battle of survival. Now the real journey of freedom begins. Lesson 4. Start investing. Invest 15% of your income for wealth creation. When a father goes to the shop, even at the age of 62, and says, "Son, now I want to rest," but circumstances do not allow it. That day, a person understands that saving is not just a luxury, but a necessity. If you save today, if you do not do this, then in the future, you will become a burden on yourself. Grow old, but do not be helpless. Dave says that wealth is created gradually. It is not magic. It is a boring discipline plan that makes you rich in the future. And the next step of that plan is to invest 15% of your income every month for a long period. In India, people think that they are now 30 years old. Retirement is still far away, or their PF has already been deducted, and they are happy with it. But the reality is that if you do not start investing from today, then working even at the age of 60 will become your compulsion. Remember the simple way. Earning money means survival, but making money from money means real freedom, and that is the real game changer mindset. Author Dave Ramsey says that compound interest is your best friend if you give it time, i.e., if you invest $0 every month with discipline and leave it for 25 years at 12% return, you can become a millionaire. Yes, Joe, go 100 per month, 1 crore 60 lakhs in 25 years. How to implement step-by-step action plan. Number 1. Take out 15% of the income. Suppose salary is $0, then invest 7,500 per month. Number 2. Now the question arises where to invest. So the answer is long-term mutual fund. NPS Retirement Benefit Index. Funds low cost high growth, PPF. If you learn a little more, use the stock market or stocks directly. Set it to auto mode, start SIP. And forget it, every month, the money will work automatically. But remember one golden rule, do not touch this money even in emergency. Retirement means living with respect, do not become a burden on others. Remember, do not spend every month's earnings only on EMI or expenses. Save a little part for the respect of your old age, because real freedom is when even in old age you are not forced to bow down to anyone. Now let's move towards the 5th step of Dave Ramsey. This is the step that can change not only you, but also the thinking and destiny of your future generations. Lesson 5. Start saving for your children's education from today itself. Do not give your children a legacy of debt. Give them the beginning of freedom, the bitter truth of India. Today every parent wants their child to become a doctor, engineer, IAS, but when the time comes for studies, they have to take an education loan. Children's education is affected due to money. Many times dreams remain unfulfilled due to lack of money. Dave Ramsey says that your children's dreams depend on your planning. Dave Ramsey himself sent his children to college without a loan, because he had thought and planned in advance. He says that parents should pay the price of their children's dreams in advance and should not force children to pay MS for their future. Vijay was a middle-class accountant in Patna. His dream was to make his daughter a doctor. But when the daughter passed NEET, the fees were Rs 12 lakh. Vijay had neither money nor any investment. He mortgaged gold for his daughter's education and took an education loan. This is what happened, but now even after 7 years, Vijay is paying MS. Retirement money also went there, Vijay says. I wish I had started SIP 10 years ago. Now I am telling you step by step. Practical action plan number 1. Early start equals minimum stress. Start saving as soon as the child is born. The sooner you start, the lesser will be the monthly investment. Number 2. Where to invest. Mutual funds, children's education plans. PF ULIP plans, long-term education goals. Harsh truth. If you have not saved for your children's education, you have given them birth in debt. Your discipline today decides their flight tomorrow. Send your son and daughter to college, not in the shackles of debt. With wings of dreams, because parents who become the light in their children's path leave behind a legacy, not an obligation. Now we will talk about the level where you are not just safe. Lesson 6. You become powerful. Pay off your home loan quickly. Remember, the real house is yours, not the bank's. What is happening in India today? A 25-year-old says that as soon as he gets a job, he will buy his own house by paying EMIS. The bank immediately arranges a loan for 25 to 30 years. The bank immediately arranges a loan for 25 to 30 years. By the age of 55, the person pays only EMIS and pays as much interest as he can buy 2 houses. You have the keys to the house, but the owner is the bank. Ramsey says that people think a home loan is a good day, but no day can be good unless you keep your head down. He himself aggressively deleveraged his mortgage and lived a debt-free life. Understand in Indian context. Suppose you have taken a home loan of Rs 50 lakh for 30 years. The interest rate is 9%. Monthly EMI will be around 45,000. Now the return you have got in 30 years is around 1 crore 60 lakhs, meaning you paid the price of 3 houses in exchange for 1 house. Remember this bitter truth. The walls of the house give peace only when they are free from the chains of installments. What to do? Practical action plan. Step 1. As few additional EMIs as possible. 2 means as many as possible every month. Pay some extra amount to the bank in addition to your MI. This amount directly reduces the original loan amount, which automatically reduces the interest and the loan ends soon. Example, if your EMI is 400 and you pay 5,000 extra every month, then a 20-year loan can end in 134 years. Bonus incentive freelance income. Invest all the money in debt. It is better to spend your freedom on travel or gadgets than to buy them. Step 2. Increase the MI. What do people do whenever salary increases? As salary increases, they start increasing lifestyle, new phone, Netflix, eating out. But what sensible people do is that they increase EMI as salary increases. Example, if your MI is 30K and salary increases by 10, add 5Q EMI by increasing EMI by just 1 to 2%. You can finish the loan 5 to 7 years earlier. Logic, interest on home loan is compounded. If the principal is reduced quickly, the entire loan will be repaid quickly. Step 3. Tax benefits. Now listen to the harsh truth. People say keep paying EMI, 80K will give you tax benefits of 1.5 lakh rupees. The truth is that to save tax of 1.5 lakh rupees, paying interest of 10 lakh rupees is a loss-making deal. Example loan amount 50 lakh. The total repayment in 20 years will be Rs 1 crore 10 lakh or Rs 60 lakh. In return, you will have to pay Rs 1.5 lakh as interest. You will get tax exemption throughout the year, which means if you repay a total of Rs 40 lakh, you will save Rs 6 to 8 lakh in tax. This benefit is not robbery. Taking a loan to save tax is like asking for cancer to avoid fever. Real story, Suman and Ajay are a middle-class couple in Pune. In 2015, they took a home loan of Rs 40 lakh. The MEI was Rs 33,000. During COVID, he read Dave Ramsey every month, reduced his lifestyle to a minimum, upgraded his car, kept investing 2 to 3 lakhs every year from his bonus in the loan. What was the result? By 2024, he repaid the entire loan. Now there is no EMI. He has peace of mind, he says. Now this house is ours. From the heart as well as on paper, a bank house is never a dream. The real dream comes true when only you are the owner of the house. Now let's talk about the last and most powerful step of Dave Ramsey, where money is not just used for you, but to change the lives of others. Lesson 7. Earn money, invest, and help others. Earn money and donate generously. The real purpose of financial freedom is not just to acquire luxury, but to gain the power by which you can make the lives of others better. Understand the meaning of real prosperity. Dave Ramsey says that becoming rich is not bad, but living only for yourself is a very small dream. In this stage, you not only become debt-free, but also start creating wealth. Now money, it works for you. Now you can give jobs to others, donate, and bring change in the world. There are crores of people in India who do not have money for education, treatment, or to fulfill basic needs. Now imagine if every middle-class person becomes financially independent and starts uplifting others, like paying the fees of a poor child, bearing the expenses of treatment of an elderly, funding a startup, building a library in the village, then the country will change. Dave Ramsey says that the happiest moment comes when you do something without thinking. You can help someone with an open heart. Charity does not mean just giving money, but also giving your time, skills, and most importantly, your heart. Dave and his wife gave thousands of scholarships to poor school children, donated anonymously to people's medical emergencies, And all this was possible because they first strengthened themselves. Now, look at India. Sudhir and Pooja, a middle-class couple from Ahmedabad, were drowned in debt and bills till 5 years ago. Then they got some free time. Then they started investing. Every year we donate Rs 1 lakh to a local orphanage and say that when we were in debt, our world was only till EMI. Now we are able to change the world of others. Always remember that real wealth is not what is seen in the car. True wealth is what shines like hope in the eyes of a stranger. Now the decision is yours. Will you always keep running after money or create a system where money runs after you? From EMI to freedom and from freedom to impact, it is the same. If you are interested in a total money makeover, then there is only one answer. Friends, I hope you liked this book summary very much. If you did, then subscribe to our book's summary too. 0 YouTube channel, like, share, and share it with all those who want change. So you will also like this video which is showing on your screen right now. Do watch it too. Thank you for watching.